Welcome back, everyone, to the Kinguin Pro League, day one of week 2. With me, Lothar. We just casted a pretty good match between Sho and his opponent, Masan. Now, Masan took the first game, then got sweeped by Sho's complete lineup. Despite a really bad start from Sho's, I guess, Mech Mage hand, he had a really big threat, so he could actually take that series. So next up is going to be Trump versus Orange. Trump, who last week beat Colento 3-1, he lost the first game to a Paladin that was slightly unusual, and then just took the 3 games from then on. So definitely a really strong presence here in this tournament for Trump so far.
So yeah, definitely a good showing for Trump, and Orange is on fire lately too. Like he won 2 qualifiers in a row for open brackets, so different tournaments, and he must feel confident coming to this league.
Yeah, he had a pretty rough first week, but there was a lot of, I think a lot of RNG went against him, and he brought Warrior also first week. So Warrior is not exactly a class we think is, I mean, you and I discussed this last week. I don't think it was an exactly good meta read to bring a Warrior, and the players who did bring it got punished pretty severely.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the case, and most of the time. And I still think that Warrior is not a good choice for Conquest format at this state of metagame. And we'll have to see. Well, we saw a new card today, right? Maybe that will change the Warrior.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody in the chat has not seen it yet. I urge you to open a new tab in your browser and just check out the Axe Flinger. It's a 4-mana 2/5 that when it does take damage, deals 2 damage to the enemy hero. So you can essentially turn Inner Rage into, you know, if the minute you give it charge with Warsong Commander or even charge, you could, you know,
it's Inner Rage, it's 4 points of damage for 0 points of mana.
0 mana, is that a new OTK Warrior? I mean, that's pretty cool. It's kind of like the Raging Worgen for a bit more mana in that case.
Yeah, can be.
So we're getting word of the decks that the players are going to bring in that next match.
Look, Orange did bring the Warrior back. That's interesting.
Okay, so Orange apparently feeling very confident with his Warrior. Sure, I mean, if he feels confident with it, then we're gonna give it to him. It's not a terrible class, but in the current metagame, maybe it needs some specific adaptations to compete at the level that Druid, Hunter, Mage, Rogue, and Paladin are. But Trump also brought a slightly unusual deck. He has Druid and Hunter, and as his third deck, instead of taking anything you would expect, he goes for Shaman. Like, out of nowhere, he picks Shaman, which I'm interested to see what's in that deck. If it's a standard or maybe on the unique side.
Shaman? I think most players are bringing the standard Shaman, if you like, because it's just so powerful against mid-range decks.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's so weak to anything that can burst you down, like with bypassing your taunts.
Yeah,
because you have no heal at all.
Shaman suffers from that a lot, and I mean, in standard decks, Antique Healbot does address that. Like in the slower versions, sometimes people sprinkle in the Healbots, but if you're gonna go for like the aggro mech Shaman, then suddenly, even though you can punish mid-range and you can punish control somewhat, you're going to be at the vulnerability of somebody else who snowballs out of control faster than you do. And that's kind of why the deck got phased. I mean, on ladder, Purple and Firebat, I think, got an amazing result with the initial mech iteration. But as soon as it got figured out and became popular, people started saying, you know what? Why run this over Mech Mage? And the metagame, there was like a dynamic equilibrium, just threw the Shaman out of the meta.
Yeah, that's so interesting about Hearthstone. Like, when you compare it to the analog TCGs, the metagame shifts are basically daily.
Sometimes daily. Hourly even, like a 3-hour pocket of meta, and then suddenly everything shifts and you don't know what you're facing anymore. Yeah,
and the standard like timeline for a meta game in analog card games was until the next big tournament.
Yeah, which
and
did
it
take
lasted
weeks.
for like weeks or even months. Yeah, and that was the meta game shift because then the decks are being public, and you can actually see what the other pro players are bringing, and in Hearthstone you basically see the pro players playing daily.
Every day, and somebody has some insight. Like either the streamers are streaming their own decks, but even when you don't necessarily see them stream, you can see those decks on ladder through a player's stream. For instance, let's say Colento's playing a rank 1, and he faces a deck that's that seems unique, you get that deck list by going through the entire matchup. So you can always have an insight as to what's going on at high levels of play and copy that as a result.
Yeah,
which is
it was
kind of interesting.
definitely interesting when Reynard introduced the Zoo deck. Like, that was kind of
the first big meta
like
influence experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was over a year ago. Reynard posted like the deck on Reddit, right? Played it a few times on stream, and then 80% of ladder decks were Zoo.
Yeah, but what he did present it that way, it was the way he presented it was so like you had to play it. It was like, okay, so I've got the best deck in the game right now. It's a Warlock deck, so you abuse a hero power, which is way overpowered. Like, you can't actually lose if you're a Warlock because that hero power is broken. So you take some minions that are very standard, and there's also Doomguard, which is also the most powerful card in the game. I don't understand why it exists, but whatever. You just abuse that, and then you Soulfire, which is also broken, and then you play all your 1-drops and your 2-drops, and then you gain tempo. So that's kind of how it goes. So and then he plays 5 games and he wins them all, and everybody's like, oh my god, this is the best deck ever. And for 3 months, for 6 months, legit 6 months, until Sunshine Hunter came about and played Explosive Traps, it was Zoo forever. So that was really painful.
Yeah, and Shield Bearers, man. Shield Bearers. That was the only deck that utilized those, right?
Priest tried with Inner Fire, but they never got out of rank 19. So no, I don't I don't think anybody else did.
Yeah,
that was pretty crazy. The first appearance of Shield Bearers in competitive metas. So we're getting word right now that the players are choosing their decks. I'd also like to point out that Orange's lineup is pretty unique. He's got Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior. Aside from the Warrior that we talked about, Hunter and Rogue, Rogue I somewhat expect is kind of one of those semi-mainstream decks that's just very, very strong, but because of its complexity, sometimes turns off players to the deck itself. And Hunter, obviously very standard that we've seen so far, almost overrepresented in the tournament, but it's like Hunter's a Hydra. You cut ahead by nerfing a card, and they come back with 17 more archetypes and tweaks, so you're like, oh, well, I guess they're sticking around now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
So Trump is going to play...
First game will be Druid versus Druid, anyway.
No, it's going to be Rogue. Orange is going to play as Rogue.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Versus...
read it wrong.
Orange is going to play Rogue versus Trump's Druid, so... I'd give an edge in this game to the Rogue, personally, depending on how they pan out. But if they manage to negate that board presence, Shade of Nax growing is fine, but if the Blade Flurry comes out fairly early and there's a prep sprint coming out, then I think Rogues don't have that terrible of a matchup if the Druids don't draw heavy aggression.
Rogue has 2 ways of winning this match. One is drawing into every single body that he has. He will curve out to a turn 2 coin creature, turn 3 creature, turn 4 Violet Teacher. Basically almost guarantees a win against the Druid, because Druid has doesn't have enough answers to such amount of bodies. He has to sacrifice his own minions, and then Rogue just draws more cards because of sprint.
Yeah.
And the other way around, for Rogue to win this game is a really powerful Blade Flurry, as you said. This is one of the cards that can turn the game 180 around.
Yeah, and so it really depends as well if the Druid is... the more taunt-heavy Druids, I think, have a harder time because they don't get the initiative the way that fast Druids do. So we're going to be hopping in the game in a few seconds here, so we're going to see if Trump is perhaps playing a faster Druid version with a double combo. Druid. Or there's a slower one.
There's a piloted Shredder.
Yeah, I don't think the hands are getting shown right now on stream at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So until it shows up, we don't really, and even then, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be a fast Druid, but I guess the Shredder will give it away.
Yeah, but when you talk about taunt druids, right? You said that the taunt druid will have a hard time against Rogue because it's much slower, but on the other hand, Rogue has a big problem with taunts
that have high health.
Yeah, the only answer is sap. So if he saps like a Nation of War to build up the board, that's fine. But if you have to sacrifice the sap just to push for little points of damage, and then you have no answer to that card next turn, you basically lose to that.
Yeah, I'm just used to. I guess maybe my experience has been maybe on the lucky side where I just get a good sap and then Blade Flurry the second wave of minions, and then it's generally snowballing from there. But you do need to get a good hand, which at the moment, Orange's
Neither
hand.
of the players has.
Yeah, exactly. Both are fairly off curve.
Well, the innervate will be countered by sap unless Trump will draw something with immediate effect on the board, like an Ashen of Lore, but still that's turn 5. So
yeah, and if Orange actually had, I mean, if Innervate number 2 shows up in Orange's hand, that could be a disgusting play from Trump.
I would like to see a turn 2 agent here from Orange.
Yeah, the Coin Agent I think would have been a nice board presence, and if your opponent has a Shade, he can't play it. And he's forced to Wrath your agent instead, and then you can play Earthen Ring for a body, and then you can transition into, board control.
Yeah.
Well, it's still going to be a 3-3 on the board at this point. No damage dealt, but ultimately still a pretty good outcome, and he gets to heal everything. It's just one turn behind. Oh. Uh-oh.
Well, he goes for the Shade Electromas, which is really cool because next turn he can just play Dr. Boom. And this is way more important than just Sylvanas.
Yeah, obviously, and I really like, I mean, the follow-up turns from Trump are going to be powerhouses. Turn 5, Innervated 7-drop, turn 6, Sylvanas, or Force of Nature if too many things show up, and then you have another wave of 7-drops. So, yeah, definitely problematic, but I like Orange's decision here to drop his 3-3 on the board, knowing that if he loses this...
Yeah. That's why I would like to play the agent on turn 2. Well, maybe if he plays Gazetan, then okay, I can see the point of keeping the coin in hand. So you play Dr. Boom here, and the sap has almost no value.
Yeah, because he even gets more boom bots, which you take Fan of Knives out of the way, but you're making yourself more vulnerable to combo if nothing can absorb them.
I'm really curious, why did he sacrifice Shade Electromas here? Maybe it's because of the looming Blade Flurry Deadly Poison in Nation? Because there's a reason to use those when you have like a huge board presence and you can kill everything on your opponent's board, including the Dr. Boom with the Blade Flurry.
Yeah. What if you don't sap this board though in Orange's position and you just backstab Eviscerate Fan of Knives?
Well, that's definitely something I would have done.
Yeah. Because I mean, sapping Dr. Boom is essentially, I mean, you're giving up the ability to, I wouldn't say win this game, but let's just say you're putting yourself in a really pretty awful position. Now I think the boom bots killed the SI7. I couldn't see the amount of damage that was dealt, but
that was 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4. The upper 50 percentile.
I really like the play of Orange here, that he opted to kill the Dr. Boom instead of sapping it. As we said before, it makes literally almost no sense to play sap on Dr. Boom. You kind of deny it for one turn because it's turn 6 right now, and there was no mana for the Dr. Boom to come back. But still, you have to deal with that Boom bots, and you have no answer for a big threat, for another big threat with the sap. And now the sap looks really good against Sylvanas.
But I like coin Eviscerate, attack, and then Lotheb.
What I would like to see, what I would like to see is to keep the Eviscerate for face damage.
Since the first one was already gone into a minion.
Well, if you count the damage in your hand, you have quite a really big pile of damage here.
That's right. If he actually opts, wait, what?
Okay, I don't really see.
Why not just coin Eviscerate Lotheb? You could have coin Eviscerated Lotheb and hit the Sylvanas for 1 with your dagger.
Yeah.
See, this is... Whoa.
This is way... I don't know.
I wonder what went through, like, what he saw, or what he didn't see, rather. Like, I don't know how the calculation went about, because that was a waste of a Deadly Poison's 2 damage, at least. There was an overkill down here on that Sylvanas.
That was definitely overkill, and still...
Uh-oh.
You see? If he would kept the Eviscerate, he still had the prep, right? So the last turn, you play Belcher Coin Sap, and you prep into poison, into Tinkers, and you get like 8, 12 points of damage this turn, and you have still the eviscerate, so that's almost lethal next turn. And he sacrificed a lot of damage with the turn on the turn before.
Well, I'm still not sure why he used he took the line of play that he did, because there was so much overkill in that Sylvanas that.
Yeah, but you know, when you play, he kept the sap for something that was important to sap, like a Taunt or a Sylvanas. Because why would you sap Ancient of Lore? Because it still can heal or whatever, right?
Yeah. But now, you know what? Trump knows there's no Blade Flurry coming from Orange's side. That attack for 6 here is a telegraph.
So he has to use
Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
Druid of the Claw.
He has. It sounded like a down, like, you know, like a really bad play, but it was the perfect thing to use.
A Shiv. Oh wow. Wait, is that something new that I haven't been?
No, it's like a one-off.
Okay. I have not been made aware of Shivs coming back in.
Just to increase the cycle in his deck.
Well, that's not a bad top deck. It gives you an extra card draw. He's double cycling, but the Drake first would have been much better.
Definitely.
Get the Drake first, get that Shiv, and then kill that 4-1.
Harrison Jones kinda one turn too late.
Yeah, and is this game? I think it is a game. There's 8. Yeah, there's 10 extra damage on the board, 12 even. So this combo is gonna steal the game. Again, a Druid stealing the game. And Trump doing mathematics here. He's a master mathematician, getting wins all the time. Alright, so
really interesting game here. Like,
I have to say,
I quite understand the line of play from Orange here, right?
No, I have to say, after this game, I'm honestly not sure Orange saw the play that we mentioned with the...
Both. Because you presented the most secure way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yours was the safe play. Mine was the kind of win the next turn play.
Yeah, and play to win.
Yeah, and he didn't do either. Neither. I mean.
Yeah, he didn't either. He went for Deadly Poison first, and I think that might stem from the fact that he did not think of the coin at that specific moment as a combo starter. And he wanted to use Deadly first to curve with Lotheb since he was on 6, but he didn't consider the fact that coin bumped him up to 7 and enabled combo for Eviscerate, which would have given him 7 mana total to curve. So I think he was just not paying enough attention, or got locked into the fact that he had to play Deadly and Lotheb, and then figured out I can just prep Eviscerate if necessary.
Yeah, well, maybe. Still, I think this new iteration of Rogue has much more damage, bigger damage potential than the old versions of Rogue, and you have to kind of change the style of your play of your game plan when you compare it to the old version of Miracle Rogue. So you can count the damage in turns when you actually normally would just play for board control with the old Miracle Rogue, and now you can just win.
Yeah, which is kind of that's the thing about this new style of Rogue. It plays a little like Freeze Mage in that you're thinking 3 turns ahead as far as your damage potential goes. Like Freeze Mage says, I freeze you this way this turn, and I'll freeze you that way next turn, and then the next turn, and then they think like three or 4 turns ahead to set up their line perfectly. And Oral Rogue has to do the exact same thing, so which is kind of interesting. So we're being told that Orange is going to stick to his Rogue for the next game, and Trump, having won with his Druid, will have to move on with either his Druid or Shaman, and he decides to pick his Druid, his Hunter, sorry.
Hunter.
Sorry, yeah, his Druid had been locked, so Shaman or Hunter. So he's going to go for his Hunter. Hunter versus Rogue. I think Hunter is one of the classes that can definitely punish a Rogue for breathing.
But that would be the Face Hunter, and we don't know if Trump goes for the Mid-Range Hunter or Face Hunter, because Saps and mid-range hunter have so much value. Like, it feels so good to sap a Savannah Jaime on turn 6. Like,
it's the best feeling. You're like, oh, you wanted to, deal 12 damage to my face, no cost attached. No, never mind. I'm just sapping this now. Replay that. Oh, I've got another sap, by the way, and it's just a constant pushback on the hunter's ability to deal damage. Meanwhile, you're whittling his health down 3, 5, 6 at a time, and then eventually you just one-shot him with a big, Tinker's play.
When you think about it, that was the same style of play when Orange would sap the Sylvanas. Like, it's
exactly.
also 6-mana creature which did nothing that turn. So.
It would have been a very similar line of play, but Druid has the ability to play. I guess it would have done the exact same thing. Just that I'm so afraid of Druid's follow-ups after that point that I don't see the sap, because I'm gonna still have to deal with Sylvanas, so maybe he was a little worried. So
it's still a time warp.
Right? It is. It is. Oh.
There's a Gazetan. Okay, so that's the reason why he didn't coin out the agent on turn 2 in the previous game. Yeah. As I said, but still, he kinda. That's why he plays Shiv also, not only for the cycle, but also for the one more
the double cycle.
Spell. Yeah.
Yeah, double cycle with Gadgetan is absurd, and he starts already going phase because I don't need this dagger. My best play next turn is probably gonna be a redagger anyway.
Yeah, and this also gives some information for Trump here. Like if he goes for the dagger phase turn 2, then he doesn't have a play on turn 3 unless he top decks something. So
he just happens to. Actually,
use it?
I was gonna say I don't think you use it. Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense to use it now.
Like the coin right now would be so much of value for Orange.
It would be so sick.
Yeah.
Oof, he's going to trigger that trap with a South Sea. Get rid of the Eagle Horn charge.
Trap? You mean the freezing trap?
Yeah.
Well, he has no way of triggering it. Like
he's got a South Sea
deck. Yeah. I don't think you want to do this. Well, he didn't play the weapon, which is kind of weird, but So now Orange has an option to kill the Misha here.
Yeah, I like the South Sea deckhand play with an Eviscerate to get rid of the trap at the same time, and in that way there's no Eagle Hornbow charge coming from your opponent.
Unless that's a snake drop.
Which it at least wasn't. That would have been almost. Would it have been that bad actually for Orange? Because when is your opponent gonna play another minion next? If it's a snake trap, you just kind of knives everything off. It's, Okay, well, speaking of Fan of Knives, still, he's a bit behind at this point as far as the curve goes. He's got an amazing turn next turn, mind you.
Yeah.
But this turn is a bit on the weak side. He might sacrifice the South Sea to get rid of that body.
I would like to see, well, that Farseer pick was really lucky, but I would like to see him just using the Tinkers this turn and just passing the turn. Basically, there's no difference between the Pallet Shredder and a 3-2 minion. And you have the option to like catch up on the upcoming turn with the preparation.
Yo, you know what?
This doesn't look good.
Oh, back-to-back high main here. Oh, what? This looks like an old school.
Old school Miracle. So he doesn't opt for the Gazetan here, but
Oh, goodness. Okay, you know what? His next turn could be pretty strong, but at what cost?
Grab into Tinkers, because that's 7 points of mana.
At least Gadgetan, prep, Fan of Knives, draw 2 cards, get another prep, then Fan of Knives again. I mean, honestly, this is a moment where without Vanish, you lost the game.
Well, maybe he plays Vanish. Who knows?
Yeah, for all we know, he might. I know some people teched it in early GVG when Hunter. When Druid was all over the place, Tone Druid, some rogues started running Vanish.
Handler Goat's also a really cool target for Vanishes.
It's got a lot of value. You can negate some specific tactics, and Meal Mage was also everywhere, so that was pretty fun too. Just like fill their hand up with the duplicates and then
Vanish. That's a really cool animation too. Like I have golden Vanishes because it's a basic card. It has such a cool animation.
So right now Orange is essentially
to be honest, I don't see an option out here. You have to prep if you
prep a sap into a prep into a sap.
No.
No, it doesn't work like that?
No. So now he has to draw prep into sap. There's the sap and the prep.
No prep for him here. So
that's game.
Well, not yet.
Well, you just got 12 points of damage. 15, 17 points with one of lethal, right?
I guess he could win with a good knife juggler hit.
No, he can't
doesn't have the mana, unfortunately.
No, you have to squeeze the hero power. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you just go, you ignore the...
Actually, wait, you know what? I think Trump has, because he can't get lethal, he has to get rid of the board. Look at this board and tell me, against a rogue, you ever would let that live.
Well, you have to count how many points of damage can he deal, and you already saw one eviscerate, right? So there can be only one eviscerate.
You might expect cold bloods,
poisons. Oh yeah, right.
You don't know, because I mean this is already unusual enough as it is. You saw Shiv, you saw Gadgetan.
Well, you can just play the freezing trap.
Yeah, and kill one of the 2 minions.
Yeah, and you don't care about anything else.
Yeah, you go Hornbow, freezing trap, hero power, and then you hit face.
There's no more haha.
That's right, haha's gone.
I like this play. Just goes to face.
Yeah.
And plays the freezing trap and hero power most likely.
Yeah, I think this is really hard to get punished by, because although not killing the 2 minions... I mean, right now, what Orange does is he attacks with the Gnomish, and he gets it back to his hand, and if enough spells line up here for Orange, he could pull out... If he had a prep, this would be such a disgusting board. If he had a prep, he would probably be able to take...
Well,
maybe not take it. Oh, wait. No, that doesn't help.
Glory, but still, you have to play Farseer this turn. Right?
No prep, no win for sure. Even if you play Farseer, you still lose because the bow is active.
Yeah.
He needs to find a prep. He needs to find a prep off of that sap. And even that's not enough. Nah, this is it. The game is over. Yeah, unless he gets Fan of Knives, which draws 2 cards and then gives him prep and sabotage. But then he can't play Earthen Ring, so he's still dead. So this is a case of rest in pepperoni. I think so.
Well, you can't do anything.
Yeah, and I think he's noticing it. He just concedes here. Trump's Hunter gonna take a win against Orange. That is 2-0 for Trump. So the next game is gonna be match point again for him, which might mean he's going to go possibly 2-0 in this entire event.
So do you think that Orange will stick to Rogue again? It's not a good... Like, I feel it's not really... it's not a good option for
well,
them to
actually,
stick with that Rogue.
It is an option just because the next deck that's coming up is Shaman. And a good Fan of Knives, or like a spell-powered Fan of Knives, or Blade Flurry will generally punish Shaman heavily. They're willing Zapomatics, if they're playing aggro mech, are going to get backstab, SI7. You can generally contest that board very easily. So, knowing that, I think Orange this might be a good time to secure a win with that Rogue, because being a Conquest format, he has to use his Rogue anyway. And all he knows is that the next 3 matchups are all going to be Shaman.
Yeah, that's definitely right. But still, even if he wins with that Rogue deck, it will be a Warrior against Shaman. Yeah, and that was never a really good matchup for the Warrior unless he draws into Baron Geddon to clean those totems like out of his way.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily too bad. The thing with those totems, and that's something I learned a while back, is if you just play weapons to kill totems, you're getting 0 for 1 to every time. Like, because at some point you are afraid of those little 0-2s that come out, because they're threatening with the Flame Tongue totems to just, being locked behind a Stone Claw and you can't reach them. That becomes really problematic. So unless you're running some kind of brawl on time, it's really problematic to just shove your Fire War Axe into those 0-2s every time.
Oh yeah.
But it is a very complex matchup though, so things could go either way depending on how the draw pans out for the Warrior.
Yeah, but still, the first match we'll have to see it's Shaman versus Rogue, and one of the ways for the Shaman to win here is to rush down the Rogue, and this can be done with an example, a Spirit's Wolves plus backed up by a Flame Tongue totem, because that's really hard for the Rogue to deal with. Like you have to sacrifice a sap or eviscerate for that Flame Tongue, and then if there's a sap, it has to be backed up by a deadly poison to kill one of the wolves.
Mm-hmm. And well, Trump is obviously, well, I'm saying that, but we never know. But he's playing some kind of mech variant of Shaman. I've got to assume it's something we'd view as pretty standard. Ooh, double whirling.
Oh, and double Zap-O-Matic.
Yeah, it's pretty lucky that there's a coin SI right now in.
Kinda.
I mean, as Trump here, do you just
Deadly Poison Blade Flurry? That's really important.
Yeah. Do you just like snap play coin SI? There's no reason not to, right? You have to just throw it out there.
Yeah, but that feels so bad. It's like you play Zoo and he just agent your Snap Juggler.
Trump can't feel good about this. You're exposing 3-2s to a rogue. That's not something you want to do.
Yeah, and what do you do against that agent right now?
You obviously hex it. Oh, I'm kidding.
Well, that doesn't feel good at all. Now this creature will be dealt with the Deadly Poison.
Yeah, Zap-O-Matic's out of the way here. This is one of the biggest. So sometimes there are games where the Zap-O-Matic steals the game on its own.
But this is not the game. This game.
This is not it.
So okay, so that's definitely a mech shaman.
There's almost too many mechs here. All right, well that's probably gonna be a pretty simple turn. There's a chance the SI survives the encounter with the next minion. Yep, and it does.
I think you can ignore the Murloc. Because
I'm afraid of Flame Tongue. I would never ignore something on a shaman board.
But then the Flame Tongue will be left to your Deadly Poisons. I feel it's okay. Yeah,
you're right. Unless he plays like Feral Spirit behind it, then it would be that's when it becomes problematic. But you don't expect Feral Spirit. It's Mech Shaman, so
yeah, exactly. So I would like to not kill the Murloc here.
I can see the reasoning behind that.
You have a follow-up for his upcoming plays with Flame Tongue or other shenanigans. So yeah, but still, it's a great position for Orange here.
Well, Trump's position, on the other hand, is
awful.
Yeah, I mean, everything he's got is... I mean, one of the ways that Mech Shaman wins is by getting that early game uncontrolled and have it snowball. But then again, you know, it's the last deck in Trump's lineup, so it's not as though it's a bad choice he made as far as bringing it. It just so happens that Orange is running Rogue, which I feel, because of Backstab and SI, and a decent Blade, like even a medium-sized Blade Flurry will just wreck a Shaman board. Because of that, I think it's a hugely favored matchup. There's the Crackle, and if it hits, it should hit, right? Oh, no, it didn't hit.
That's very unlucky. But even with a 4 damage, wait, what's the name of the card?
Crackle.
Crackle, yeah. I just got a blank here. Yeah. Even with a 4 damage hit from Crackle here, I still feel like it's a really bad position for Trump. Whatever he does, it will be just countered by Orange here.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least it would have mitigated some board control, because that 2-4 is going to take away your totems no matter what for the rest of the game at this point. And unless you get a good lightning storm, and I say a good, I mean a sick lightning storm here, this is going to be nearly unrecoverable.
Yeah, the problem with Shaman is like the only way of comeback mechanism that Shaman has is the lightning storm, and the lightning storm is putting you on overload next turn, so you can have a problem of, you know, recovering the board afterwards.
Yeah, and I mean that might be addressed in the next card that comes out, Lava Shock, which by the way, Ben wrote confirmed that it unlocked your currently locked mana crystals. So if you go for like 8 overload and you then cast it, you will regain an entire mana pool right away.
Which is sick.
Yeah, you can get like a 10 mana innervate. This is pretty crazy. This is insane. But yeah, so far so bad for Trump. I don't think this is a game he's going to be able to take no matter what happens at this point.
Yeah, there's no reason to think that Shaman can turn this game around.
There's a bit of spot removal with that Fire Elemental, but it's not enough to really deal with anything that that's even worse.
Sap. Yeah. So you can just play low tap and sap.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do much else. All you want to do at this point is just go face and face and face again.
So you sacrifice the Deadly Poison for the Cogmaster, but then the Blade Flare doesn't have any kind of value, so you can just play it. Yeah, and he just does this.
Yeah, he just sacrifices his Gnomish Inventor.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, pretty good play. That way there's no way the Fire Elemental is going to come back. And Trump, just seeing that this is a hopeless cause, might as well just leave it. Concedes right now, and is going to give the win to Orange's Rogue. After 3 attempts, the Rogue finally pays off and gets him a win. but he still has to go through his 2 next decks in order to get this series. He's got a Hunter and a Warrior left. Hunter can win.
Yeah, Hunter can definitely win.
Warrior, on the other hand, I don't know.
Well, Orange might be playing the Midrange Hunter, right? And Midrange Hunter kinda also struggles against cards like Hex, which can, instantly
negate a high main.
Yeah, with 7 high main. And like back in the metagame where Life Coach's Sunshine Hunter was the new thing, we kind of tested the Shaman as a counter to it, and it was quite good, even without any healing.
Interesting. I know that the hexes are. I remember back when a Shaman, like mid-range Shaman, not Mech Shaman, but mid-range Shaman was around. People said that the Hunter matchup was horrible. My experience was the opposite, where I had a 60% win rate with Shaman versus mid-range Hunter. Face Hunter was a problem, was an automatic loss, but mid-range was manageable. If I could get the decent snowball but as Mech Shaman, is it as easy? Is it easier even because you've got that early game minion, the Harvest Golems, what the hell? The Spider Tank, the Violet Shredders, because you've got those early game minions as Shaman, which you used to run, maybe Nerubian Eggs, Undertakers, Harvest Golems, a little bit sometimes back in the older mid-range, slightly aggressive versions, but I feel like it's even more aggro now.
Yeah, but it's definitely more reliable than Undertaker Eggs, I think.
Yeah.
Because, both of those cards, like Undertaker is kind of dead without drawing any death rattles.
Yeah.
And the eggs are really passive cards. Like you have to wait a whole turn to make any effect, and it's also really weak to any kind of silences or whatever. So I feel that the current version of Shamans are better in our metagame right now than the old version of Shamans, but still it's not like a great spot, I think.
So apparently we're going to be seeing Warrior versus Shaman, and considering the tiebreaker system, I find it weird that Orange goes for Warrior, since you are rewarded. Then again, I don't know what his Warrior's built like. He might have double Whirlwind and a lot of and a double unstable Ghoul. Like, I don't know what he's got, but from my perspective, going for Warrior against a Shaman is going to net you a lower win rate in general, maybe, than going for Hunter. In which case, you're possibly getting yourself less tiebreaker points, which will matter. You don't want to lose 3-1 if you can lose 3-2. In any case, if you're gonna lose, might as well get as many wins as you possibly can.
Yeah, definitely. And well, this might be something that we are not aware of because his Warrior is so tweaked. In an example, against Shamans, or his Hunter is just really bad to mid-range Shaman. We don't know that. So.
All right. Well,
we'll have to see.
Golden Warrior, wow. So he's played a lot of it. We can tell you that much.
That's a really great draw from the Shaman.
I think Trump has the nuts draw. This is it.
Yeah, this is really insane.
Against the Warrior, Anoyo-Chuan is the next best thing to an insta-kill 0 mana card that says you win the game right now.
And you can even coin it out in turn 1 just to negate the Fury War X. Like,
at least
okay, never mind.
I was gonna say this hand is terrible, but then it got salvaged with this little Fiery Wind Axe.
And now Trump has 2 options. He can either play the Cogmaster or coin out the Anoyo-Chuan, and I think he played the Cogmaster just because he saw Orange mulligan away the whole hand.
Yeah, knowing that maybe there's no answer to that that early game.
Yeah, and Trump just smiled, so I think that was his, his thinking.
Yeah, and now the worst part is Orange has a Fiery War Axe, yes, but how do you manage that Anoyo-Chuan now?
Wouldn't you play the weapon here and just attack for 3 points of damage? Then you play Spider Tank, massive Anoyo-Chuan or Spider Tank next turn, and you just clear whatever just comes out. Well, you will clear it anyway. Bomb Blubber. Oh, that's interesting.
Trump is exposing himself to... Trump is currently exposing himself to losing the Anoyo-Chuan, but as a result, he keeps the coin to get that Bomb Blubber out, which is pretty obvious anyway, and then he just gets himself a bigger mech next turn that he can get. He could get himself like a 5/6 Spider Tank if he wants. And, you know, for a 3-drop, that's not horrible at all.
Yeah, but...
You can kill Acolytes of Pain if they do come out. And honestly, Orange's hand is fairly dry right now.
Yeah, but his turn 5 and 6 would be fine.
And 7 as well.
Yeah, that gore hole will present so much value. Now the only thing that Orange will have to worry about is his health. Oh, Doomhammer!
Crucial card in this matchup because it whittles away that Warrior's health without him being able to do anything about it unless he finds Harrison Jones exactly what he needs to.
So now the Whirring Zapomatic can be a 5/4 minion. Wouldn't be that cool.
It's not terrible though. I mean...
Okay, so he doesn't use the weapon now. Which is kind of weird, I think. Because you want to chip off that armor.
Prevent a shield slam on anything you've got. But there's a good argument to be made for not doing so. I just feel like... And you know what? It's actually going to work in this case.
Because Orange hand is just not mana efficient. That's the problem. Like, he can play the Belcher, but then he's so weak to whatever Trump will play.
Look at that! Look at that!
And that Lothab will have no impact at all because there are no spells in Trump's hand.
To be honest with you, if Lothab falls down and Bomb Blobber is played, and you know the Spider Chain gets traded, that's a 5/4 Whirling Zapomatic gonna pound for a little while at Orange's face, and he won't be able to do much about it for about a turn or two.
Yeah. So we'll most likely see a armor up shield slam into Zapomatic.
But what do you do next? You have nothing. You just wait and play Sludge on the 5/6 afterwards?
Oh, that kind of sucks. But if you don't deal with that Zapomatic, you're being, like, you know, you're facing 10 points of damage next turn. Most likely.
It's incredible to think that a 2-drop is such a huge threat. Oh, goodness. Well, that's the power of the card, I guess. And it's a good thing that it's Shaman only, because if a Mech Mage pops that against me, I swear I think this is the last day of my Hearthstone career.
It's 5/6 minion. This is quite a threat.
Alright, then the Mech Warper comes out. Not really necessary in this case, just getting the Harvest Golem.
Wouldn't you just play Harvest Golem into Totem?
Totem, I would have preferred that, and I was going to comment on that earlier. I feel like the power of Shaman against Warrior stems from the use of those totems a lot, and he hasn't used any yet.
Definitely because of those taunt totems have the same purpose as Annoyatrons.
Yeah, in many ways, and they're free, so you might as well at least hope for them. And the best thing is that once you have a huge amount of totems, you essentially guarantee whatever it is that you wish to get.
And you also increase the odds of Sylvanas getting something not valuable at all. But still, this is such a beatdown from the Shaman here.
Honestly, with a Doomhammer in my hand, I'll let that warrior take as much damage as he wants.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see a Belcher this turn, that's for sure.
Well, Belcher armor up, or Belcher Fiery, but Fiery the Flame Tongue.
Yeah, I think Belcher and Fury War Axe.
So here's the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fiery War Axe, Belcher, and then you attack the 5/6 with Sylvanas and hope you get yourself something decent. Wait, what?
Okay, I don't like this play.
He can kill it. Wait, he can kill it, but I think you're lowering the potential value of your Sylvanas.
And this is one of the reasons why I don't like it. You're being so open to the Flame Tongue shenanigans.
Alright, well, I think this is a pretty straightforward... I want to say it's straightforward Doomhammer, because to me it just screams get value now, and if he has Harrison Jones, too bad. And you know what? If Orange does find Harrison Jones, though, if he does find Harrison Jones, this is a much different board state after that specific turn.
Yeah, but still, it's a really bad position for the warrior.
Oh, it is. It really is.
You have to play the Harrison Jones just to deny 4 points of damage.
And then you're still dead.
Yeah. So, you know,
And that's not even Harrison Jones. I mean, I guess you have to use your Fire War Axe now and armor up.
You have to kill the Flame Tongue. Yeah, Flame Tongue and kill the. Well, it kind of sucks. Maybe you just have to play the. No. You have to use the. You have to use something to kill the Flame Tongue. You have 7 points of life, so if you armor up, you'll be at 9. Then you're staying at 4 points from Doomhammer, 2 points from Mech Warper, and from Harvest Golem. So that's 4, 6. That's 10 points of damage. So you have, if you don't clear at least one minion apart from the Flame Dog, you're still dead. So
this is gonna be, if Orange wins, he's gonna have to get a Shield Maiden next turn, if anything.
Yeah.
And so Trump needs to draw dry, like completely dry.
That doesn't even make a difference here.
Yeah, he's gonna be on 1 health here at the end of this turn. Assuming Trump top decks no damage at all. Anything, Lightning Bolt, Cracker. Oh, Cracker.
No.
Cracker Shaman. You know all the Cracker Shamans? This is gonna be a useless draw for Trump.
This is one of the withdraws that can Shaman have. And this is...
Fire Elemental was
lethal. I think.
Fire Elemental was lethal. Lightning Bolts were lethal. Crackle was lethal. Rock Biter was lethal.
I believe
Flame Tongue number 2 was lethal.
This deck.
Everything was lethal.
So now what Trump thinks is, oh god, does he have Alexstrasza?
And you know what? That leaves Orange with...
Well, you have to do
3. You know, that leaves Orange with 2 pretty good draws. Shield Maiden and Alex. And let's say 3 because we assume 2 Shield Maidens, right?
Yeah.
So...
Well, I think you have to play the Bomb Blubber. So you play Bomb Blubber. Well, you first kill the Totem, play Bomb Blubber, and go face for 4 points of damage. Why?
I think he's just gonna go full face here. And yeah.
I think when you're playing Bomb Blubber, you just... Okay, right, it went fine for him.
Well, this is the hyper-aggressive play from Trump. Trump sees blood. You can see it in his face. He's looking at the screen very intensely. He's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. I swear he's dead. And yeah, he doesn't change. He is still ready to kill here. Going for the throw. And honestly, Orange has no way of getting out of this.
Yeah. There's no way he can win this game.
And he commits the Mitsubishi against Shaman. We knew it was a bad matchup going into it. And the draw from Orange, I'll be honest, was probably one of the worst possible. Admittedly, there was a Fire War Axe, so he could negate some damage. But the follow-up aggression from Trump, and the fact that he had Doomhammer for that very end, you know, being able to whittle down 16 health away from a warrior who thinks he's stabilized, means that he's going to be on the back foot for about 4 turns straight for the time, you know, just for the time that you're going to exhaust your Doomhammer. So Orange, at the end, there really didn't stand a chance. So Trump is going to take a second series in the entire event, going 2-0 essentially in his entire lineup. First against Kalento, then against Orange. He's got to feel pretty good about his
spot on
performance.
Spot on. It's really great, great drawing from Trump here. Like he plays also a different deck. Like the Shaman is kind of unique here in our Kinguin Pro League. So definitely something that you have to look to when you will be playing against Trump next time.
Yeah, and by the way, in case you guys would be interested, on the Kinguin Pro League website, you can find the deck list for Sho and Mason, the match that was played before Orange and Trump. So you can find the deck list already uploaded there, so that'd be cool if you want to test those out on ladder while they're fresh. That can be kind of cool. And yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes for the next match, which is going to be Kaldi versus Life Coach. Life Coach on the hottest streak of his entire Hearthstone career so far, doing an amazing job in March, hasn't lost a single game yet. Will this be the thing that curses him down to a loss? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Kinguin Pro League.